Percy and the Worlds Beyond Sodor. Chapter 3. Percy's Dream. For a while, Percy was the only engine in the little shed until the others returned home one by one. Daisy also heard about Percy's ordeal and kept making rude remarks. But she was soon hushed by Thomas, who was the last engine to return and could see that Percy was very unhappy. Don't worry, Thomas soothed. You're not the only one who thinks there are lands beyond the horizon. I'm not? Asked Percy. Of course not, replied Thomas. Do you remember when Duck got mesmerized by that regatta? I think so, replied Percy. Well, Duck was like you, said Thomas. He thought he could go to faraway lands, and I agree with the pair of you. You do? Asked Percy. Of course, replied Thomas. But we'll talk about it in the morning. Right now, let's get some sleep. Okay, sighed Percy. The other engines on the island of Sodor turned in for the night. Even Gordon, James, and Henry, who also kept making rude remarks about Percy's ordeal, but were soon hushed by Bear, and one by one they drifted off to sleep. Except one of the engines, who had been assigned to take Percy's mail train, so all the letters and parcels had to be delivered around the island. Percy was woken up suddenly the next morning by the sound of a siren echoing in the distance. He hurried out of his shed and went to follow the noise. After a while, he stopped by a sign that said, "You are now entering Pontypandy."
Pontypandy? Spluttered Percy. That's not on the Sodor map.
The siren grew louder, and Percy was caught by surprise by a fire engine. It was large, red, and raring for action. "Where's the fire thing?" he demanded.
Fire?
Stuttered Percy. "The fire there, boy! Where is it?" cried the fire engine hastily. Percy stared in admiration.
Who are you?
He asked. "Jupiter 999, said the fire engine. "I'm sorry, can't stop to talk. There's a fire to fight, and duty calls." And the fire engine disappeared within seconds.
What is going on?
Pondered Percy as he drew further down the line. Sure enough, Percy left the road and came across a beautiful canal. The scenery was quite relaxing until Percy was surprised to see a canal boat floating gently down the lake beside him. Perched on top of her was a carved wooden duck, which moved his head from side to side.
Hello there,
said the canal boat.
I haven't seen you around here before.
The feelings are mutual, said Percy slowly. He never took his eyes off the canal boat.
Who are you? I'm Ragdoll, replied the canal boat. My owner, John, has just gone to get some supplies. He writes stories about some little dolls in my cabin. Doesn't he, Duck?
Percy looked at the carved wooden bird on Ragdoll's top. It moved its head from left to right before it made Percy jump with a simple quack.
I'd better get going,
Percy puffed, and he hurried away.
Well, nice talking to you, said Ragdoll. He was something, wasn't he, Duck?
Quack, was the only reply Ragdoll got.
What is this really coming to?
Groaned Percy as he puffed along. He soon came across another sign, which read, "Welcome to Greendale."
Greendale!" cried Percy.
"Who's that over there?" called a voice. Percy looked over. There, parked beside the rails, was a little red van with a crown on its sides.
"Who are you?"
asked Percy. "Pat," replied the van. "My owner's just gone for help. I broke down, you know. I need a bit of help. Can you go to Pencaster and see if they can bring a truck up here?"
"I don't even know where Pencaster is," whimpered Percy as he panicked about the situation.
He started to feel rather strange. The world was fading into black, and he could hear the sounds of birds twittering, and the engines puffing and purring, whistling and blaring. When Percy woke up, he was in for a surprise. He was back in his shed. Thomas, Toby, and Daisy had already gone. There was no Ragdoll, no Pat, no Jupiter, and no places like Pencaster, Greendale, or Pontypandy. He was back in the sheds of Farquhar on Sir Topham Hatt's railway. At that moment, Percy's driver arrived. "Oh, good," said Percy's driver. "You're up. Sir Topham Hatt was relying on you to work hard today." Yes, of course," said Percy. Soon his fire was burning nicely, but Percy went to do shunting in the yard.